guys, Marcia here. This is one of my favorite characters from Loot Studios, Eleanore, a badass pirate captain. I'm going to share the painting process with you. For this tutorial, I will use these paints and these products. First, I created a sketch. I used some references to plan the colors I will use and check if the colors would work well. After applying the Zenithal Primer, I'm applying a base coat for each part. A dark color, but not the darkest. Sometimes I use just one tone and sometimes I use two to create the first volume, using the shadows from the Zenithal Primer. For the skin, I'm using Bosch Chestnut and Deep Brown. I'm applying airbrush brown in the corset. And here, to create a variation in the corset, I apply leather brown mixed with black. Guys, here we have a dirt blouse. So, we shouldn't use just white. I started with lily yellow mixed with leather brown. Inside the cape, I'm applying hay gray mixed with black. I also applied this color in the hair and hat. I'm applying hay gray mixed with udder blue on the feather. To create the first volume in the cape, I'm using leather brown mixed with black and applying it in the darkest area. I applied a bigger amount of leather brown in the lighter spots, where I used Zenithal Primer. For the loot bag and belt pocket, I used golden olive mixed with airbrush brown and black. For the pants, I used Bosch Chestnut mixed with black and hay gray. I'm painting the boots with leather brown mixed with black. In the belt, I used black and I painted the other leathers with dark flesh tone. I'm applying nacre gold on the metal. Then I applied black metal to the skull detail and also on the sword blade. Now I will start lightening, adding light colors. For the corset, I'm using Bloodfast Crimson, and to lighter even more, I'm using Bloodfast Crimson mixed with pale gray. I'm lightening the blouse with pure lily yellow color. Now I mixed this yellow tone with pale gray. I used pure pale gray and some spotlights. Then I added white into pure white for the lightest area. I'm using Mayhem Red on the headband and armband. When lightening the hat, I mix Boss Chestnut with black. Then I use pure Bosch chestnut. To highlight, I apply the Bosch chestnut mixed with pale gray in the upper areas. To highlight the bag, I used the previous mixture of golden olive and arbuckles brown, adding more golden olive until it becomes a pure tone. Then I will add lighter tones as lilith yellow and pale gray. I mixed tan earth with pale gray. Now, tan earth to highlight the cape. One belt will be black with metal, and the others brown, so I'm using dark flesh tone. For the skin, I'm going to use tones from the mixtures between basic skin tone, orcish dermis, sunny skin tone, vulcan orange, and deep brown. I mark the volume area with lighter tones where the light is going to hit. Then I create a gradient between these lightest and the darkest tones. Some of these tones are orange, others are pink, and others yellow. I apply it in different areas, keeping the pink tone in the nose and cheeks, for example. I'm painting the iris with Udra blue. Then I applied blue-green. I used black for pupils, and a dot of light with pure white. I painted the lips with Cindalus red. Little by little, I added skin tone colors to make a smoother transition. I'm applying Dwarven gold on some clothing details. I'm applying tan earth mixed with black and pale gray to the pants. Then I smoothed it with lighter tones. I also reinforced some spot lines with lilith yellow mixed with pale gray. I'm lightening more where the corset folds, adding gold in the hat brim, so painting more details. The next step will be blending the layers and creating depth by adding shadows. For the shadow part, I used Tamiya thinner mixed with water in 1:1 ratio. I diluted the paint, making it super liquid or translucent. First, I'm applying a very diluted Inktense chestnut color to the boots. Now I'm applying Inktense brown. The next color is Intense Crimson for the middle of the corset. Guys, sometimes I like to remove the needle cap from the airbrush. This way I get to be more precise. But it's important to be careful with the unprotected needle, because it is very fragile and it can easily break. Now I'm applying a very diluted Intense Violet and then Intense Black. This time I'm using my brush to show you that you can still do it even if you don't have an airbrush. It is less homogeneous but still helpful. I'm reinforcing shadow with Intense Chestnut. Now I'm using a thinner layer of Intense Brown mixed with Golden Olive. To finish the shadows, I'm applying Intense Brown mixed with black in the darkest areas needed. I'm painting some final touches and details, like the belt, cape, hat. I use white to highlight the silver effect, and to highlight the gold effect I use lemon yellow and lemon yellow mixed with white. I highlighted the edge of the belt and white blouse. That's it guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Now, let's take a closer look at the final result. Bye bye, see you!